Welcome, everybody, to the Life Between All or Nothing podcast. Thanks for joining us again in our season 2. We are rocking and rolling. And did I go away again?
Yeah,
you did. And Kellen Ann's doing hearts again.
it must be my computer at home.
It doesn't work now.
We lost our magic tonight.
You guys shut me
The
down.
Life Between All or Nothing podcast. It's Scott J. and, of course, the great
Mary Kay.
That's right. And we put this show together as a mission, if you will, to let everybody know that if you're not happy with your life, if things aren't going the way you want them to, make the changes you want to make. It's never too late. I don't care if you're 99 years old. If you could make the changes to make yourself happy for one day, do that. Too many people are stuck. Stop being stuck. And if you don't like the position you're in, I suggest we find somebody to blame, and I know how to do that. You go into the mirror, you go into the bathroom, you turn on a light, and you look in the mirror, and that's who you can find to blame for all of your ails and all of your troubles. Be happy. The life between all or nothing means live the life you have now. Stop waiting until you are either stuck with nothing or you have everything, because either way, you're not happy unless you're living in today. So, Mary Kay, how are you?
I'm great, thanks. How are you doing?
I'm good. People may notice the room is full today. We got people. And if they don't know why, it's because we started a show on the Exes last night, the show that Therese and I do. And I got all my podcast buddies, and Kellen Ann is a regular on my Tuesday night show. But we started a show last night talking about men and women and understanding things about dating and relationships and asking questions. And it was so good. And it felt like we were cut so short in that conversation. We wanted to carry it over to the next day. And luckily, even with Kellen Ann moving 3 states from where she was last night to where she is now, she can still show up and be here.
Yay!
I'm closer to you, Scott.
You're in my neighborhood now.
No.
You're
That's right.
You're in Boynton Beach, Florida, correct?
Yes, sir.
Boynton Beach, Florida.
What I'm wondering is, like, you and I need to do a show now, because you do one with Therese, you do one with Mary Kay.
There you go. Do you have any free nights, Scott? Does Scott have any free nights for
No,
podcasts?
I do have a slot open. It's Sunday at 2 a.m.
Wait, I'm available.
Oh my God.
We're just going to call the show, hey, you're up anyway.
There you go.
Wait, I have questions.
That's a good show.
Okay.
From the audience.
Okay, I'm sorry. We didn't realize that we were supposed to each bring our own servant today to bring us.
No, she said she had things to ask. So
Oh,
Awesome.
cool.
That's
Is that your dating questionnaire?
no, this is her. She said there's things that girls need to ask people, and
Oh,
she has a
excellent.
red flag section. She has a partner needs to be in same life stage.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
there's a
right,
bunch
all
of-
right.
Can't
We'll
we
get to
just
that.
put a link in our dating profiles? Here, click here and answer this.
There
That's
you
it.
go.
Yeah. They should have take a test. Take a test.
But the thing is to get them to answer truthfully.
Well,
Right,
that's
yeah.
true.
But Kellen, you're on like a little vacation for yourself right now. Take some
Yeah, it's a
time,
mini. It's a mini.
come down and spend some time down here in Florida before you go back up to Georgia and stuff. How just to put it in perspective, how important is it that you take time like that to do those kind of things? Because a lot of people don't. They don't, even if it's just for 2 or 3 days to get out and do something. How important is that to you?
It's crazy important, because I was the other end of it, where I would do nothing. I would work 365 days a year and just beat my head against the wall. And I would get more done if I were to work 3 months, take a few weeks, work 3 months. I get more done in those 3 months than I got done in the whole year that I banged my head against the wall trying to work harder. And so I'm just working smarter and allowing myself like recovery time. It's just, your brain needs a breath, needs a breast. Sorry.
What?
Okay.
It was a Freudian slip, I think.
That's fine. That answers one of the questions I had here right now.
Oh boy.
How
This is not
important are breasts?
PG rated.
No, this is definitely not PG.
Not PG. Kids, leave the room now.
Well, we're super pleased that you could be with us today. And Therese, you're back again 2 nights in a row.
Yay!
2 nights in a row. And Therese, I gotta tell you, because right from we got people already. Wow.
Nice.
I gotta tell you, right from the start, when you and I started doing these shows, you're like, I don't know if I could do it and everything else. And now you're like a seasoned podcaster.
Wow, I wouldn't go that far.
No,
Right on. No, you're awesome, Therese.
I gotta
Come
tell you,
on.
You're amazing.
you have no idea just how you have such a natural presence. It's so cool. So it's kind of neat. Do you feel like you found something in yourself doing this, or?
Well, yeah, I do feel like I can come out of my shell a little bit. Yeah. I don't know if I'm all that great at it, but it's there.
We're always self-critical. We're always super critical.
Yeah.
When I used to do radio and television, I wouldn't watch my stuff because I would look at it and say, "Oh, I sound stupid," or "I don't like the way that it looks," or something. But I had to trust that if somebody says you did a good job, it meant you did a good job. So I'm telling you, you're doing a great job, and I love doing the show with you. So it's awesome.
Why, thank you. Lynn actually sent me a very nice message today, so that was very
Oh,
sweet.
nice.
Mhm.
That's great.
Yeah.
So Lynn, speaking of Lynn, she's with us. She's saying hello, friends.
Oh, hi, Lynn.
Lynn.
We've got Sandy, mom. Sandy is with us.
Sandy, mom. Hi,
Hi.
Sandy.
Yeah, she adopted all my podcasting friends now become my mom's kids too. So
She's gonna love me.
and
Yeah.
Lynn says she's proud of you, Therese. Well,
Thank
do.
you.
Nice.
Yeah, in some reason, Lynn is like, it's amazing that one person Lynn can link us all together. I mean, although Therese and I kind of knew each other since we were living in the same house. But she linked the linking the rest of us together the way she does. It's an amazing skill. So we always pay tribute and thank you, Lynn, for doing what you do and caring enough about podcasting to try to create quality podcasts. There's words in there. They're not quality podcast.
Too much coffee. Too much caffeine.
I'm always the believer of not enough, and that's what it actually says: caffeine on the cup. There's never enough. See, I can't sleep at night. I've always had this insomnia thing. And I used to be like, I got to stop drinking caffeine. No, I got to drink more caffeine. That way I don't care if I sleep at night. That's what I got to do.
It's very healthy.
So Mary Kay, we had a blast last night. We really wanted to carry this over, didn't we?
Oh my God. Yeah, we did. We had such a blast, and it's really great for me to hear from 2 other women too, as well, that we're in the dating scene, kind of all trying different methods, I guess. Although some the same, and the dating apps are the most fun, the most entertaining.
Well, it's like a game of Russian roulette with the dating apps, Sometimes it's a click and you're relieved, and other times you just want to blow your brains out because it's terrible, right? What I really appreciate, I got 3 absolutely wonderful women here who aren't like dependent upon finding somebody to complete themselves at this point in their lives. And there's too many people out there that still do that. They don't feel like they're complete. Now, it's nothing wrong with wanting to have a partner or wanting to have somebody to share adventures or even to have a deep relationship. But you guys aren't desperately seeking it to make you better, are you? Anybody can grab that.
It's to enhance my life.
To enhance
It's an ad.
But not to fulfill you, because
Right.
a lot of people do that. It's like, I was half a person until I met my love. And I'm like, well, you still half a person.
That's
Yeah.
like Jerry,
Yeah.
that Jerry Maguire quote, "You complete me," or whatever.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
ridiculous. That's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
sending the wrong message.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's that whole, it goes back to the concept of when you get married, 2 become 1.
Right.
And it's not, no,
Mhm.
2 still have to be 2 who create a better 2 and not a better 1, But, tell me, Mary Kay, you've been single for a little bit at the time. I know you expressed you'd really like to find somebody, but your happiness is not contingent upon that, is it?
No, not at all. And so it was before, like a few years ago, and back 10 years before that, definitely there was definitely that contingent factor. But once I realized that, I was like, no, you know what? I need to find happiness in myself and by myself. And once I found that, it was a game changer because there's no pressure to find someone. Like there's no pressure. So I'm on the dating app, and have I been on it today? No. Like there's no pressure. It's not a marathon. It's not even a goal really. It's just an experience that I'm opening myself up to. So yeah, definitely not contingent.
I like that. An experience you're open to. You're opening
Yeah.
yourself up to it instead of desperately trying to cling to for one or find one, right?
Yeah.
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 Therese, are you on the same page with this? Is this how you're feeling too? It's like
No.
if it's there, but you don't need it.
No, I'm not looking. No, I'm not thinking. I'm not looking. I'm not anywhere near there at this point.
But I mean, honestly, do you feel unfulfilled by not having that, or do you
No.
feel like you're actually becoming better by not
Yeah.
having it? Right.
Yeah, I feel like I'm becoming better without having that. I get myself to do a few different things on my own. I realize I can stand on my own 2 feet. I don't really need to rely on someone. No, I don't need anyone else's opinion. If I make a mistake, I make a mistake, and I got to deal with it. So, it is
Right. I like that. Kellen, same view.
Maybe 3 years ago, I would have disagreed because I was like, I have to have somebody. I'm going to be, I'm at this certain age. In my mind, I never thought I was going to be divorced. I thought I'd be happily married. I thought, things didn't go the way my mind had them set up. But no, I'm completely happy by myself, but I am open and looking for, some kind of a relationship because, a relationship, in my opinion, it doubles your fun and celebration, and it reduces your burdens. You have somebody that can help you through burdens and sadness and whatever. So, but I think I'm personally in the healthiest place I've ever been because I've been by myself for almost 6 years now. And, I took care of my daughter, I took care of my mom, and, I feel like I did my obligations, and now I'm ready, and I was able to heal from all the turmoil of my marriage and fix the best to my ability problems that I had, my communication issues. And so I think I'm ready I'm a good person to go right now.
I love it.
She's ready to mingle.
Single and ready to mingle. Yeah.
I'm thinking I want it to happen more organically because I'm not like the swipe culture thing. I'm just not, we discussed this last night. It's been a disaster for me. and I think, and so I have taken a break from the dating sites, and I'm just, like I said, I'm joining clubs. I'm doing the improv. I'm in the diving club, and I'm just trying to just see what happens on its own,
And the cool thing is doing all of that stuff, the stuff that interests you and piques your interest. That's where you want to meet somebody who's sharing similar interests, not somebody that, I like their eyebrows, so I swiped. Which way do you swipe if you like them?
Her eyebrows, right?
Right.
You swipe right if you like them?
Yeah.
Or left?
Right. No, left is no. Left is no.
Left is
Okay. All right.
Hell no. It's a hell no.
I don't know. Left or right? Why is that a complicated thing for me to? I just don't. I don't. No, I think that's really awesome. But you said something interesting, healing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a lot of people, men and women, and I've been guilty of this, and jump from one thing to the next without, even if you're not in a horrible, horrible relationship, which I've been in some horrible ones, and I've been in some that weren't horrible, but they just weren't working or they were broken. And I had a lot of responsibility in things that went wrong. But I never took the time to heal before I jumped into something else. And there's no possible way to change unless you take that time. Mm-hmm. There's no possible way to figure stuff out. So this time that I've taken has been really important for me to say, it was really easy for me to point the finger and say it's because of that, but it really wasn't. It was because of I started or at least participated in a lot of the things that were wrong. So, have each of you, have you had times where you skip the healing process and then times when you've used the healing process? You know, Mary Kay, how about you?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. When I first split from my ex-husband, that was back in 2007. And I would say for at least for 7 years, probably, it was one after the other, after the other, after the other, after the other. There was no time for healing, even though I was telling myself during those, fairly short-term relationships that I was healing, but I wasn't. I wasn't. And I was just telling myself these things. And yeah, so to answer your question, yeah, skipped healing in favor of having a companion and knowing full well that these were not going to be my life partners, which is a whole other thread that we can go down, which I feel bad about and feel, I've redeemed myself from that. But it's yeah, I feel bad about that because I feel guilty for leading people on that it might be a life partnership.
But you weren't, obviously you weren't preparing yourself for Mr. Right. You were preparing yourself for Mr. Right now.
Yeah.
No, true.
Yeah. Kellen, the healing, you mentioned the healing to begin with. How important is that?
It's major important. Like I was just like you, Mary Kay. I was just filling voids, whatnot, being afraid to be alone, thinking society tells me I should be with somebody, that if you're alone, there's something wrong with you. Remember we were talking last night that some of us feel more comfortable being in a really lousy relationship than the fear of being, that was better than the fear of being alone. And then that brings you to when you're talking to guys to date, we talked about make sure that they've been alone, because if they've never been alone, then they haven't healed it all either. And if you're going to go to all the trouble of healing yourself and preparing yourself to be available for a relationship, and then you're with this person that they're not prepared because they have not been alone. And that's one of my main questions. Have you been alone? Have you been without a girlfriend for any amount of time? Barry
Selby's joining us saying you're preaching
Barry.
what I teach. Barry is our relationship guru.
Bring Barry on. Bring him on. Come on up, Barry.
Barry, if you would like to come and join this conversation, put on your cup because it's us against the girls right now. No. If you would like to join this conversation,
we don't bite.
Just let me know, and I'll send
hard.
Yeah, I will send you an invite. I'll send you an invite messenger if you'd like to join in for a few. Therese, how about you? Have you found that you lacked healing before, that you needed it, or that you're doing it now, or anything? Or
I think that right now is the best healing that I've done. When my first marriage broke up, I was very angry. You go through the stages. I was very angry, then I was very hurt. There was a lot of humiliation in that. And I did have a relationship, but I also knew he was not going to be a long-term anything. He was like a distraction. But I thought that was part of the healing at that age, in my late 20s. I thought that was part of the healing, but it really wasn't. But I knew he wasn't, I didn't introduce him to my kids. I knew he wasn't a long-term person. So I think this time right now is the most healing I've done. I've kind of gone back and gone through some of my therapy exercises and kind of gone through why I've been carrying on this pattern.
That's amazing work. That's amazing.
Yeah. It's hard work too.
It's hard work. Yeah, it
is, but it's necessary, right? Like once you realize that, okay, I need to get through this pain before I can have the gain. Then it's just worth it. It's just, you'll get through it. This pain will pass.
Yeah. Like, Mary Kay, do you feel like you're the best you've ever been right now?
Yeah, I do. I do.
I feel so available and so vulnerable, and I mean everything.
Yeah, I feel I can show people who the real me is, and I don't have to be who they need me to be. I can be me, and if they're attracted to that, great. And if they're not, perfect. Because the more polarizing I can be, then I don't have to do the filtering, right? If you're repelled by me, I love it. Get lost.
Yeah, there you go. Don't need ya.
Oh, Barry's coming over.
I'm trying to get Barry. I'm trying to get Barry in. But I'm trying. I'm having a hard time doing it because I'm not on my computer. I'm on my tablet, and the only way for me to
tablet. Send it to him through your phone.
I will do that through my phone. That's what I will do.
That's easier.
I'm turning my fan on because it's warm in this room.
There we go.
Where are you, Therese?
It's hot.
In my
Hot
room.
flash. Hot flash. That's me.
New York?
That's usually me. I'm having a hot flash, damn it.
It's a heat wave. All right.
Thanks, Mom. I was responding to your mom's.
Aw.
Oh,
Yes.
nice.
Yes. You guys talk for a second while I try to get Barry in.
Wait, can I just send him the link through that you gave me to him through
Oh
Messenger?
my God, do that.
Yeah.
Do that.
If that's easier.
Barry, Kellen's going to send it because I'm retarded. All right.
Make sure I send the right link though. Okay.
Send him any link. He'll show up on a different show. It's fine.
I'm forwarding.
Now, you guys made mention of a few things a couple times, and I want to bring this around. I know that sometimes people ask me, or they don't ask a lot, but if I tell somebody I'm single, they're like, oh, okay. But if a woman says she's single, there's an automatic thing like, well, what's wrong with you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Have you guys found that there's a little more pressure, especially as we're all, let's say, in the over 30 club? That I mean, we're all in similar age brackets here. We're not far away. I think
I sent it to him. We'll see.
Kellen, I think you're the youngest.
No, I'm not. I'm the oldest.
No.
No.
Yeah, I am.
No. I'm born in 67.
64.
66.
Oh.
66.
Okay. So we're
I
all
am your wiser.
we're all around the same age, couple years of each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so you get over a certain age, and people really kind of expect you to be in a relationship, and if you're not, then you're something wrong with you.
Exactly.
So have you guys felt that pressure from people, or at least felt a little uncomfortable about how people treat you?
Before I healed, yes.
Okay. Therese,
I'm with you, Kellen. Sorry, go ahead, Therese.
I still get it. I still get it at work.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, let's find you somebody. Well, don't you want to go out? Well, don't you want to? I'm like, no, I don't. I just don't.
Barry's here. Hi, Barry.
Hello.
Hello.
So that's funny that people in this day and age would still act like that you're supposed to be with somebody.
Yeah. Well,
especially for women, that's also true.
Especially for women, yeah. And it's kind of old school, right? So my parents, of course, I come from a big Greek family. So it's a typical question. And they think that I'm doing something wrong to not find the right person or to not. And maybe I am, right? Like maybe I am. But still, it's still a judgment that comes from them. And like Cal and Ann, it doesn't bother me anymore. So it's like, yeah, go ahead. Say what you want. That's fine.
It's kind of like in the South, though, like, bless your heart.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the Southern way of saying F you, I know.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
You poor pathetic thing.
Yeah.
But the thing is that's also true.
It's the same way they treat people with like a 5 IQ. Oh, bless his little heart. He can't tie a shoe. Bless his heart. Oh, she can't find a man. Bless her heart.
That's like me trying to find Fireball at the grocery store. The lady literally said, "Bless your heart."
Let's take a moment to invite to welcome Barry Selby on the show. Barry, we've had you on the show before. We've talked about relationships and different things, and just by happenstance you were logging in. Glad you could join us.
Sure.
We're having a lot of fun talking about men and women, the differences in relationships, asking each other questions. And, it's been great. So we appreciate you being here, brother.
Well, I know you
want
to
thank you.
Back up. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I needed another guy here. The testosterone levels were getting a little bit low.
There you go. There you go.
So
I want
another bearded brother to come in here. There we go.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The 2 beards. Good thing we don't have beards, right, girls?
Wait, I shaved mine off.
So I wanted to ask a question. I think, and it's really based on my last relationship, which was a few years ago now, and we were together for 6 months, and there was he didn't want to meet my family, my parents. He didn't want me to meet his, and I was very uncomfortable with that. Is that a red flag for you, Kellen or Therese?
It means they're emotionally unavailable, in my opinion. Like they're probably really interested in the physical part of it, but it's almost like when they don't want to kiss you. Like, have you ever had guys that like go out with you but they wouldn't kiss you?
Mm-mm.
I had that once. And it freaked me out. No, I thought there was something wrong with me, and then I'm like, he's just not emotionally available because he thinks kissing was very important and emotional to him. And I'm like, oh, so you just laid that on the carpet for me.
Probably had nothing to do with the big piece of broccoli stuck between your teeth, but
I floss vigilantly.
Definitely. Wow.
Now, Bear, actually, so I mean, Therese, have you had that where people don't want to meet the family or get involved with the family at all?
Yeah, I do think it's a red flag. Have I ignored it in the past? Yeah.
Yeah. Just paint it green. Paint it green.
Or there's also been the time when there was interest right away, right? Off the bat. Very nice. Interact with my kids. Very lovely. And then you get a year or two down the road and it's like my kids don't exist. They're always in the way. They're always being noisy, So you can put on a front and then you find out the true nature down the road.
Mm-hmm.
Just gonna play defense for a minute. That wasn't me.
No,
I love Therese's kids. I didn't always handle them very well because I had a lot of problems with my own parenting skills because of my alcoholism through a lot of my parenting years. So I had some problems with that. But I love her kids, and I loved your mom from the beginning. I had to because she scared the hell out of me. She used to throw shoes at me when I was 14 years old. So I know my mother a lot. Yeah, true story. And sometimes she wore some really heavy clogs. It was very scary. Barry, is that in a relationship when somebody is withholding from a part of their family and stuff like that? Is that a red flag in relationship talk?
It can be, although there are certain circumstances where they have issues with their parents that you don't want to find out about. Not so much them, but their parents may be a little bit too right wing, and you don't want to introduce them to them, or some other difference from you, where the person you're with, if you're interested in the parents, it's like, I shared this on Tuesday, I think, about John Bradshaw's quote about, if you think you feel evolved, go home for Thanksgiving. The thing is that sometimes you go home to your parents is where you don't want to go because you've changed so much from that family dynamic. So taking them back to the parents may not be the best inspiration for your relationship. So it can work that way as well. But generally speaking, if there's a clear avoidance without explaining why, then there's definitely some stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
All right, excellent.
Yeah. And that's how I felt too, Barry. That's how I felt in that there was really no explanation. There was always a diversion of the question, always some way to distract from it. And then I would be thinking about it later. I'm like, he still never answered me 3 days later.
One of the baselines of relationship for me has got to be about honesty and integrity.
Yes.
And if they reflect rather than answer your question, there's a real big red flag there,
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny, we're looking at this show and, people are probably listening to say, oh, it's a show about relationships. We've got 5 people here that we're all friends. We do podcasts together. We've got 2 people who are exes who lived together for almost 11 years or around 11 years.
Wow.
There was a
I
break
thought
in the
you weren't going to tell everyone about Barry and I.
What?
He didn't know that.
Therese, you didn't have to give it away. I didn't say it was you.
What, you lived with Barry, Scott?
Right? We've also got a relationship expert, if you will, who's written a book on the subject, 50 Ways to Love Your Lover. And there's all sorts of great things going on here. But look at this circle. We got 5 people who are single.
Mm-hmm.
And we're talking about relationships. And I'm going to tell you that some people might look at that and I'm going to say, I'm looking at that as saying, hey, it's okay. It's absolutely fine to be single. And maybe this is just time to work on other relationships. I have friendships with 4 people on the screen here. No, I'm going to say 5 because I have friendship with me too.
Mm-hmm.
I got friendships with 5 people on the screen that if I kept chasing too much relationships, I still wouldn't know how to build these relationships.
Well,
One thing I learned this from Therese a while ago because I used to watch her and I used to actually get upset. And I don't know if I've ever talked to her about it. So, hey, we're going to do this in front of people, Therese.
Oh, okay.
She would be talking to people that she knew from high school, which was, years ago. It was a while ago.
It was a while ago.
And they've moved and they've gotten married. They've done different things and they all remain friends. And when they're all in the same town, they say, let's get together. And they talk and they send Christmas cards and they do all that stuff. And she does it with some of her ex's family members. And there's all this. She had relationships that she kept and cultivated. Me, if I left a job and I worked with somebody side by side for 10 years, a week later, I don't talk to them ever again. And I didn't know how to have relationships. I had no idea. And that has a direct correlation to how I treated Therese in our relationship and other people in the relationships I've had, because I didn't know how to have good friendships. Is that important there, Barry?
Well, kind of obviously, yes. But the thing about it is some people, though, choose a relationship as a choice point, like get in a relationship and forget your friends, and be with your friends and forget your relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, you need to have both. Because frankly, I've said this before in my work, that men definitely need to have male friends to go hang out with because their partner's not going to satisfy the need to go do things that men need to do, like go hiking, camping, whatever it is, to get the juices flowing, so to speak. For women, they want to go to the spa with their girlfriends, not with you. So it's like having the friendships outside the relationship is helpful to make the relationship easier and healthier. Because the problem
and I think that's
is put everything on the relationship, and he can't carry the weight.
Yeah, and it's a lot of weight to put on someone. So I know for me that I have friends across different types of activities and different types of interests, because if I put all that onto one person, like, oh my God, like who would they have to be?
Right.
So I think like you're saying, we have to have an idea of be clear on what we want and what our needs are. Be clear on what we can give to another person in a relationship, and then don't make them the center of our entire universe.
Indeed.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody's nodding. I assume we all know this, right, Therese?
Yeah. Well, I mean, in my first marriage, I did kind of disconnect from my friends because, it had to be all like I was the wife. I was supposed to be there. He had his boys' night. But if I went out with my girlfriends, it was like he wouldn't talk to me for a couple of days. So I allowed that to happen. But then once, I went through the separation, the divorce, I got reconnected with my girlfriends, and they have been extremely important to me ever since. And I insist on keeping them.
Yeah.
Good.
You have
It's healthy. It's healthy. It's like a balanced diet, right? You're not just going to eat one thing.
Right.
And that could be taken in the wrong way, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You went there.
I guess I went there.
Okay, you're the only one that had that thought. That was the only one.
It's
But
spread.
no, we all have it. Thank you very much.
I don't think so. Come on.
Kellen, how about you? Did you sacrifice and put all your eggs in baskets with relationships?
I'm just thinking like college, a little bit after college, I ditched my friends so fast. I feel bad about it, but my best friend from 8th grade, she stuck with me through the whole thing. I mean, she, I had the boyfriend and we were in college and it was I did nothing with her. And then as soon as that went away and we reconnected, I felt horrible. I'm like, but I also felt like a piece of me was like missing. It's like you have these components in your heart and like this little hole, like she was this part that I kind of threw away. But my heart wasn't whole. So, I mean, I did, I apologized and, I told her how sorry I was about it. And, we're still best friends to this day, but it's just, yeah, I'm totally guilty of that, but I will never, ever let that happen because it messed up my wholeness. And I didn't like that feeling. I didn't like that feeling.
Absolutely. And that's great. And to follow in the same vein of thought, it's not necessary that you in a relationship have to both like everything the same and do all the same things. Now you need a lot of crossover, or else what's the point of having a relationship?
Right.
But you also need, you got your crossover, then you got all the stuff on the sides that are for you. And there's a lot of people that get in these relationships. It's like, oh, you're not going to go out bowling now because you're married. You're going to stay home and do this, or you're not going to go golfing every weekend, or you're not going to do this, or you're not going to do that. And we willingly like turn all those things over, and then we build resentments about it. So how important is all of that to have, and not only just to have those, but to accept in the other person that they're allowed their own space and interest. How important is it, Mary Kay?
Oh, it's huge. So one of my big things after having this last relationship and doing this healing journey, I've realized that one of the key things for me is our lifestyles have to be able to blendable. They have to be blendable in some way. Not every single thing. Like there's got to be some dovetailing, but it's like, so right now I'm not a traveler, and it's because of some of my commitments, taking care of my parents and my senior dog. I don't want to leave him anymore at the kennel. And so right now travel is just not a big thing for me. And if I tell someone that I'm chatting to, and I tell them why, they first they think I have 3 heads, which is fine, right? Because I'm telling the truth. Because if you love to travel, and there was this one guy who travels every month, like that's just part of his thing. He's semi-retired. And it's like, well, you and I are not going to blend lives. Like it's just not really a possibility. If you want to travel alone, that's fine. But you may start resenting me. And anyway, so having key points of integration is really important to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I want to acknowledge Chris Roush, our friend, is watching.
Christopher!
He says, look at the rock stars in here. There we go.
Hi, Christopher. He just celebrated an anniversary.
I know.
A wedding anniversary. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Really? Well, for all of us single people on the panel, up yours, buddy.
You totally married up.
Congratulations, Chris. You're the rock star. You are the rock star of podcasting. You always tell the truth, and we all love what you do out there. Makes it possible for people like us to catch up with you, and we appreciate you.
Yeah.
Kellen, how about you with keeping different interests and stuff?
So when I was first starting to date, I'm like, I had all these parameters. He needs to be a scuba diver. He needs, I had all the, and I was, but now I'm like, oh, that's not realistic. And, frankly, I don't necessarily want to scuba dive with my partner. I have buddies that I dive with. And I love, because I've been alone, I love having my house to myself. So go fishing, I'm looking forward to someone that has like other things that he can do with his friends and things like that, because I like, now that I've been alone, I like it. And I think that if I jumped into a relationship where we were together every minute of every day, it would be sabotaged. I don't think it wouldn't be sustainable.
Therese?
It's important to have certain things that are similar, but like you need to have your own separate lives as well.
Therese, it's important to have that stuff, your own separate, and not to feel bad about doing your own thing, or to feel bad about them doing their own thing, right?
Right. Yeah, I agree with that. I think I was pretty good about that.
No, we were always
I like my time alone. So whenever you say, I think I might go golfing, I'm like, yeah, when? Go. See ya.
Bye.
And then you cancel, and I'd be like, oh, you canceled. Okay.
Like, I might go golfing. I got to go to the bathroom and come out. She's got the clubs in the car. She goes, go. Get up. I'm going to watch a couple hours of Snap so I can deal with you when I get back.
There you go.
Chris Rouse says 16 years together, 16 years married, 21 all together.
That's amazing.
Congratulations. Blessings.
He's actually reached that magic number where if he killed her when they first met, he'd be out on good behavior by now. But
Where did you come up with this?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Who knows that?
It's not a healthy thought. Chris, congratulations. Seriously, that's fantastic. Barry, this separate interests and doing things separately without jealousy of that stuff. Because we see a lot of marriages, I give this up, you give this up, I give this, and then it just creates resentment and closed off feelings, right?
Absolutely. I mean, what you've all said makes a lot of sense, and it's true. That the biggest challenge is sometimes, again, that thought either or, where it's like friends or relationship. Some people, not when they're older usually, but when they're younger, might just basically wait till they find the person they want to be with and drop everything else and be in the relationship, which means they don't carry on any hobbies, freedoms, anything like that. And we talked about that. The thing is, as I said earlier, it's like the weight of the relationship shouldn't carry everything that's going on. And having your own life, that is your social life. If your commitment to go with your buddies to go hiking, or you want to go out in the water or something else, there are people who have relationships where they have totally different hobbies, but they overlap in different places, like you were saying earlier.
Yeah,
it's okay to have not everything match, because some people have that feeling like their soulmate's going to be the one's going to be the perfect match for them, and everything's going to line up, and there'll be no questions, no issues, no nothing. I have a different viewpoint about soulmates for a start, but that's not reality. It's like you're going to meet somebody where you're going to have like an overlap. We won't be quite the same.
Right.
There'll be some things that do something don't, like Kellen said.
Yeah.
So it's understanding that's okay. That's actually healthy to have that. So yes, I agree.
Okay, I have another thing to say. On the other side, you have to be careful that the person you're with doesn't have you eliminate your friends, eliminate your passions.
Oh, yeah.
Because I had a narcissist,
Isolate you.
very controlling. I
Yeah.
I didn't have any friends. I did nothing except whatever he wanted to do. So that's like, you have to be careful that you don't let that happen.
Scary.
And what we also have to remember in all of that, nobody took that from us. We gave it up.
Right.
And because somehow we believed we had to, because it was a sacrifice we had to make to keep a relationship that was actually hurting us. And it's
because we didn't have the confidence to love ourselves and trust ourselves.
Right.
Absolutely.
It's hypnotic in a way.
What was that, Barry?
Said it's hypnotic in a way that basically you do give it up, but it's kind of by coercion or by persuasion, where you think you're doing the right thing.
Right.
But you don't, because you've gotten so moved off your own center points, you don't recognize what you really believe, what you really know anymore, because their ego, their personality is so strong. You get convinced by them that what they're saying is right, so you then give it up that way. So it's not like you give it up totally freely.
Right.
You do it because it's a way to see things through a certain lens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you're crying in a bathtub every Friday night.
Yeah. Question for you, Kellen, on this topic. When you went through that and this person isolated you and made you part of that world or his whatever script, when you broke up, did you have the feeling of, dang, who am I now? Like, did you lose part of the knowledge of who you were? Like, how did that work out?
I had lost it years ago, and I'm embarrassed to say that it took almost physical abuse for me to run, like literally pack up the dogs, my daughter in a backpack, and go to a hotel, because
oh my God.
And then because you're told, you're getting beaten down emotionally, you're never going to amount to anything. You can't handle, you can't be on your own. You won't be able to support yourself. You won't be able to support your daughter. And, it just feeds. And the more you get it, the more you believe, and you just become trapped. But it was literally almost the fear of physical abuse that I loaded up the car and drove away.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's amazing because I could support myself. I got a job. I supported my daughter. I got her, it's like, it was,
You proved it wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Proved him wrong. And do you ever
Sandy sharing
think
that being in a relationship should not be like being in a cult.
Right.
Oh, that's a good point.
It almost feels cult-like because of the things we believe, because you don't walk up to a cult and say, oh, they convinced me. It's more like we're buying into it willingly because we want something from it. And that's what a lot of relationships, I want something from it, so I'm willing to give up everything else for that. And then you find out that's not enough. That's not enough to sustain who we are. I want to ask this question because we got each one of you, I know a little bit about, a little more with Therese, but each one of you, decided, especially recently, you were the ones who say, I've had enough, or I'm done. And I don't, I'll say it. Therese was the one who said, we can't do this anymore. I mean, we came to, thank God it was amicable the way we did it, but, and she did make me see things I didn't want to see, and I saw it, and then I understood. But what was it for each one of you that was that point where you were able to open your eyes and say, I don't want to do this anymore? Because you did it for a while, and the problems were there for a while. So this is maybe for other women out there who might not be feeling it. What was it that woke you up, Mary?
I think for me, when I realized that I was becoming lost in a story, in a movie script, in something, and I didn't know if I didn't have the directions and the orders, what would I be doing? I had no idea. And as soon as I figured that out, I was like, oh dang, I need to go and figure out who I am without this marriage, without this person, and go from there. And obviously not definitely a broken road to where I am now. But some amazing lessons and amazing detours. Yeah.
Therese, how about you? I mean, was there something that just finally snapped other than the TV show you were watching?
Other than the TV show. Well, I think there was a progression, right? I was feeling kind of not seen, not being, I don't know, made a priority. And then the one day you said, we're basically roommates. And I kind of looked at my life and I'm like, yeah, we are. Basically, we're roommates. We're friends, which is great. But there's not much more than that at this point. So, and that's really not the life I wanted to live. I didn't really want a roommate or just a roommate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, I was the one that sparked it. If I kept my freaking mouth shut, no, I'm kidding.
That was just the one statement that made me say, he's right. We are basically roommates.
And once we were both able to say it out loud, because obviously we were both feeling it, which is crazy. Sometimes you got to just say something out loud so you could spark that moment of change. And we had this moment of change. We actually left the house. We couldn't do it in the house. We went over to my office and we sat in the office and we said, we're either going to end up hating each other or we're going to do what we know we need to do. Yeah. And I did not, quite honestly, I did not want to lose, because I don't think anybody, how can you spend that much time with somebody and say everything is bad? Because it's never everything is bad. There's pieces that are bad. And I wasn't willing to lose the friendship. Neither was she. And we came to an understanding. But I don't know if I would have, even though I said that out loud, I still wasn't ready to get there. So I'm glad that you had, I wasn't glad at the moment, but I'm glad.
I was going to say, really? You were glad? Because you didn't.
I'm glad you had the strength to say, listen, this is not right. It's not right. Kellen, how about you? What was the spark for you? Was there something that woke you up and said, I don't need to do this?
There were two instances. So when I left my husband, I was staying together because everybody, stay together for the child, right? But then when in therapy, I realized that I was setting an example, a bad example for what a healthy relationship would be like for her. Because us staying together, we didn't talk, we didn't sleep together, we didn't do anything together. He did his whole thing. I did my thing with my daughter. And I thought, this is setting a really bad example for her. And I don't want to mess her up, for her relationships down the road. And then with the other instance, like I said, it was fear of physically being beat up. And that was what was the turning point for that one.
Barry, you're nodding your head like these are stories. Chris is saying, yes, Kellen. Excellent. Nobody in any relationship ever should feel threatened physically. Ever, ever, ever. And if you are, do something. But Barry, it's not, you're nodding your head, and I'm assuming working with people on relationships, you hear this stuff all the time about people getting lost. Do you any advice for people to how to keep track of themselves and make sure that they're okay?
Well, I have 50 ideas in my book, for one thing.
Yeah. What's the name of your book?
Buy the
What's the name of your book, Barry?
But
Do you have the book?
I don't have it handy. I think Kellen has spelling her copy out.
Oh,
This was-
Kellen's got it. Awesome.
Yes. There it is.
Yay!
All right,
Awesome.
Kellen.
It's on
Well, I'm
Amazon.
finishing it up because he's going to be on my show on Saturday. So.
Oh,
Excellent.
It's going to quiz me. But the
All
thing,
right,
because it's a
50
speak to
Ways
point.
to Love Your Lover. Go on Amazon. Everybody get it out there.
Amazon.
It's
Thank you.
excellent book. Go
Appreciate
ahead.
that. I'll speak from my own experience first about my wake up call, so to speak, because I had my big bad breakup, and it wasn't a marriage; it was long-term. It was a relationship back in 2006. That's the last relationship I've been in, just to be clear, time-wise. But she basically read me the right act because she thought I was going to be somebody I wasn't, and when she told me who she wanted me to be, I realized that I wasn't being who I wanted to be. It was like I was off track completely. And the thing was, is that the third relationship in a row where the same thing happened, basically. Different words, different partners, but the same sort of result, same sort of experience for myself. Like, okay, that's like third time lucky. Let me stop dating and get clear about what's going on inside of me that's missing the point. And that put me on the path where and that's why I'm doing the work I do now. That's why I wrote the book, because everything basically after that point was a change in my life and changing my direction. But the thing that has a lot of people do is, and I've said this many times in my work because it's a big lesson, is we tend to, and we've covered this in a way through the show, we look at our parents' relationship and then we mirror it without realizing it. We tend to attract relationships that mirror the same relationship patterns because we learn what those are before we can think. When we're born, we don't come with user manuals. We are basically a tabula rasa, a clean slate. And we watch the adults around us, because that's the people we think of as being God, so to speak, saying they're showing us what love is expressed at or how it's expressed. And we take it in and imprint it without realizing it because we're not consciously aware of it. And so first, for a few years of life, if your parents were loving, wonderful, kind people, you've got a great model to work with. But most people didn't have that. So fast forward to adult life, we start attracting partners, and we don't know that they're like this until we already meet with them. That's why I believe there's a whole other level going on. We meet with like these dovetailing patterns that fit together. So if you were raised in a family that when you were very young, where one of them was a workaholic, you tend to find partners who might abandon you because they're busy doing other things. If you're raised in a family that there was, smothering, you find a partner that you wouldn't want to find anybody that loves you. You wouldn't know it's love until they really did the same thing. So the wiring's built in until you rewire it. That's the power of choosing to go back and change the life. So one reason to be single is to do the inner work. Because most people will be in relationship to relationship to relationship with no gaps. Some people are. So they never get to see there's stuff to work on,
Well, that's a lot to unwind, is to unwind. No, I mean, that's a big mess. As you reach adulthood, it's like you've got this, everything you have is filtered through the experiences of your life. So your perspective and how you see things is based on what you've seen and what you've experienced. But at some point, I mean, it's like, listen, I come from a family where there was multiple divorces, and there was some violence, there was some different things, there was addictions involved. There was a lot of things that were involved. At the end of the day, and I mean, Therese, my mom, and you guys have seen her comment. She's like one of the coolest and greatest people I know. She's like so incredibly awesome. But that path to get there was hard, and all of those hard pieces are the pieces I grew up in. So my idea was really messed up on what relationships were supposed to be. I was trying to create the Brady Bunch where it didn't exist.
Right.
Me too.
I used to love to watch the Brady Bunch.
Oh, me too.
I didn't care that I knew Alice must have been stooping Mr. Brady. I didn't care about that. I didn't care that Marcia and Greg had something. I didn't even care.
Oh my God.
There's somewhere between season 1 and season 2, they ate the dog but kept the doghouse. I didn't even care about that. All I knew is that I wanted that, and so I kept trying to create that, but never ever really unwinding all that mess that I brought along. And that's necessary, isn't it, Barry? Somehow, some way, you have to do that.
Well, one thing I'm very aware of, and it's very puzzling me, why we have sex education in schools but not relationship education.
Exactly.
Makes sense. So we don't get taught how to relate to each other, but we're taught how to have sex. That doesn't make sense to me, Anyway, the thing is, but the truth is, yes, we our parents didn't know any better. I mean, half the time what we're doing as adults now, our parents did when they were younger because they modeled it to us, but they got it from their parents. So there's a generational patterns going on. So the opportunity you have to change your direction, because we all do have that choice, is a big ask. It's also a big reward. So the challenge is that when we become aware, which is first step, noticing, hang on a second, that's what my parents did. I don't do that anymore. The first step is awareness. The second step is getting help or getting guidance or learning how to do things differently.
Yeah.
And also, when you do fall in the trap again, don't judge yourself, because it's like, old habits die hard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. So we've spent. I mean, we're coming to the end of the show already. Mary,
Oh,
Mary,
boy.
this is just.
Wait.
I know we got like.
I have a question. I have a question for Barry. Barry, because it just came back into my head, because we were on a different thread, and you said something like, I have a different perspective about soulmates. Can you tell us a little bit about that? I'm curious.
I have a podcast episodes coming out a couple of weeks that we recorded about soulmates and twin flames. For me, soulmates are the person that will give you the best opportunity to grow in a positive way. So it's not the person that's going to come in your life and everything gets easy. No, it's the person going to come in your life and call you out to be the best you can be. Really. So basically, if you're not dealing with your stuff, a true soulmate is going to hold you to a higher standard. That's my belief.
I love that.
Oh, I like that.
Wow,
Yeah,
I like that too.
I like that a lot.
Thank
I'm
you.
taking that.
So, I mean, somewhere in here, there's probably going to be a whole new podcast, and we'll all be part of it. And it's going to be like Single in the City podcast, and it's just going to be, because our lives are a little different than the 20-somethings or even the 30-somethings who want to go out and they want to hook up with a bunch of people and have this kind of fun and stuff. And we're kind of not like in that place. If you are, that's cool. But I think we're more in a place of, if I meet somebody, I really want it to mean something and talk and enjoy and do all of that a little bit deeper. Maybe we've got too much experience behind us to do the bullshit stuff. Yeah. So I can see this as being something that can just be talked about forever. There's a lot of people like us out there who probably need to hear what you guys are doing, and Barry, the information you have, and me, I'll just make fun of everything, and that's what I do. And,
I have one more question.
Do it.
Okay, so up until Barry's definition, I didn't really believe in soulmates, because I had a whole other thought about soulmates, the person you're supposed to be with forever, and that's the only one you're going to love, blah, blah, blah. So I wanted to ask, have you guys always believed in soulmates, or did that just shift for you?
Shifted. It just shifted a little bit for me, because I believed what you believed, Therese, in that it's that thing that you're looking for to complete you and to, you're the greatest love of your life kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I do, my gut tells me that Barry is, I like the definition. Yeah,
I like his definition.
I like that too.
I'm adopting it.
I thought it was someone like we talked about before. They ease your burdens, and you celebrate together. So your celebrations are doubled and your burdens are cut in half. But I'm adding berries
at that piece.
Barry, apparently we're all converted. Welcome to the Ultimate Barry.
Not good.
We are in, brother. I like that too, and I used to believe in soulmates too, and I like Therese and like Mary said in Kellen, I thought it was like this kind of thing where you meet somebody and it was just like, this is who I'm supposed to be. This is my lobster. This is my person for the rest of my life.
And
here's one thing though on that. Most people have this belief in the old soulmate paradigm that there's one person on the planet who's just for them. I don't believe God. I don't believe the God I believe is a God about love and compassion. God wouldn't give you one option in 8.5 billion people to be your soulmate. That would be horrendous trying to find that person.
That's a good point.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Mine is in some corner of Indonesia somewhere, hiding under a tree. Exactly. I don't know where mine is.
Under a turtle.
I agree with you. But one of the things, and I love your definition, somebody who challenges you, not in a bad way, not in a comfort, but to help you to grow and to expand your life, expand your world, not contracts it down to just the two of you, but expands it out to everything. I like that. But one of the things I also had to think about, because I used to use words like soulmate and stuff, and I really did believe it. And then I'm like, how am I supposed to have a soulmate if I don't even know my own soul?
Ooh.
And I'm looking for people to connect with my soul. And they're like, well, what is your soul? And I'm like, well, whatever I tell you it is. It's not, I didn't know what it was. And, you know, and now that I'm starting to know my soul, and I believe, like you said, Barry, that I can have soulmates that are friends and soulmates that are this, and so people that I connect with that inspire me, that drive me, and that I drive them and inspire them, and we make each other laugh. But I've got friendships like that, and even some business relationships like that, where it's like it just works and we connect on a really cool level. And maybe not put so much pressure on the perfect idea of a relationship, like the old idea of the soulmate. I find you, and you're supposed to be perfect for me in every way.
Oh,
and the minute you're not, the illusion is shattered, and you know we're no longer the Brady Bunch. You know, now we're married with children.
They're the Addams family.
The thing about it is the other thing is, but you got to find each other when you're both single, which is like, how the hell is it going to happen too? So the other thing about soulmates, I got woken up to this idea a long time ago. I crossed paths with two soulmates in my life where I just knew they were a soulmate. One of them was married to somebody else. And I just was like, I felt like we were ships passing in the night. Like we know each other, but we're not meant to be together. And that was okay. So that soulmate energetic isn't, first of all, it's not just one person only. And it's more than just that depth of connection. And yes, it can be somebody who's a friendship because you clearly get, because I mean, I'm sure, I don't know from personal experience, but I'm sure there are people of the same gender who are not gay who are soulmates.
Oh, I can attest to that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Because I was all depressed because I just recently divorced my husband. And I'm like, my best friend, I'm never going to have my soulmate. And she says, but you've had your soulmate all along, me. And it's my best friend. We've been best friends since 8th grade. So instead of just being BFFs, we're BFFSMs because we're best friends.
Nice.
And this was, as I was talking about when I was talking about Therese before and her old high school friends and how they stayed, or even middle school they went back to, and how they stayed friends all the way throughout that. And I'm like, you know, I was so jealous of that because that is a soulmate type friendship that is like, you know, in spite of where our lives go, we're still connected and we're still going to be there for each other. And so, you know, Therese, you've already had living proof of that, you know? Yeah. So that's cool. We're going to extend it by just 1 or 2 more minutes, only because I know we all got to go. But I love you guys. This is so cool. I got to ask one last question. And this is one of those things that goes back to when Harry met Sally. Can men and women be friends? Without sex, without the thought, without the manipulation, can men and women truly be friends? Mary?
Yes.
Why was there a hesitation there? I noticed.
No, there was no
hesitation.
No hesitation.
No hesitation. Okay.
Yes, definitely they can. They can. And I think so. No physical anything. The thought might be there. An attraction can come and go, but you don't have to do anything about it. And I think that doesn't affect the friendship at all. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying you can't look at somebody and say, "Oh my God, you're so attractive," you know, and it's cool and stuff, but it doesn't affect the friendship. Kellen, what do you think?
I have one of my best friends. His name is Jim, and we've never had any kind of sexual, like, we're obviously attracted to each other because we're both hot, okay? But, but no, we've been friends for over 20 years, and there's never been anything physical, and I can text him right now. He'll get right back to me and say, what can I do for you? And I would do the same for him.
Join us for our next show on modesty.
Hot.
I'm sorry, I couldn't handle that.
I love it.
Men and women, can they be friends?
I think it's possible, but I also think it's difficult because up until you and I have stayed friends, there's always been that messiness in the middle of my other male friends. Like, even though we're just friends, something always came up, right? Either on their side, my side, something. And you know my one friend that I had for a while, and every now and then he would freak out and send me all these messages and delete me and all of this. And so up until our friendship remained, I would have said it was questionable. But now I do believe that it's possible.
I'm not sure that we are an example that can be used since we used to be romantic. So it's hard. I mean, does that count and stuff?
But you're friends now. And
But,
You're friends
we're
now,
definitely
yeah.
friends now.
We're friends now.
We're friends
Okay.
now, and that for me, that'll never change, and nobody's ever gonna, I'm not gonna allow that to go away because it's one of the most important friendships I've ever had in my entire life. So I don't want to change that.
Good answer.
Barry, but yes,
Good
thank
answer.
you. Thank you. I tried to read it word for word the way you wrote it. I tried.
You
Barry-
forgot she's the best.
Oh, she's yeah.
No, there
I
you
was
go.
going to end with that later. And Lynn, by the way, Lynn says, yeah, it's like our friendship, like ours. Lynn and I are great friends. We've been friends since back when I knew Therese. Even when I was 13 years old, I knew Lynn. We didn't see each other for like 40 something years, and now we're friends again. And it's just a friendship that's always been there, and it's really cool. But Barry, not only is it possible, but is it important to learn how to do that?
Well, hell yeah, to be blunt. Because the thing is that we talked about that, about having friendship outside your relationships. So you got to have friendship. Me, I mean, I've been single now since 2006, but I've got tons of female friends, none of which I'm going to sleep with. None of which very, very, very few of those I'm attracted to. And yes, there are some I'm attracted to, but I won't do anything about because that's a boundary I won't cross.
In case they're listening, give us some names.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, who
No,
are they?
no
Which
names,
ones
no
are
names.
attractive,
Don't do it.
Which ones aren't?
But the thing is, it's the thing for me is that I value the friendships I have. One, because women are amazing. I mean, I've said that many times in my work. But the truth
Thank
is
you.
that certainly. But the thing is that female friendships for me have a different quality than male friendships do. I don't mean sexuality wise. I mean just depth of consciousness, way of communicating. With men, I can do certain things. With women, I can do certain. Around certain things, I can share certain things with men. With women, so there's differences that make valuable to have both.
Yeah, absolutely. We can learn so much from each other, and I think sometimes we cut that short, and especially when we're in relationships, and it becomes, well, you can't have a guy friend and you can't have a girlfriend, and it becomes all that mess, and then we rob ourselves again of broing out with the guys, or really having a deep, meaningful friendship with a female for guys, because I learned so much more from you girls than women. Excuse me, women. I don't want to. Gotta be right. I learned so much more from you, on such a deeper level in shorter conversations than I do with my guy who's like, "I love you, son of a bitch," and I punch him in the arm. It's just it's a whole different experience, and experience everybody should have. And if you're comfortable with yourself, you should be comfortable being around other people, no matter who they are. So. Guys, let's go around one time real quick so we can wrap this up. Final thoughts. We'll start with Therese. What do you think to wrap this up? Just any final thoughts? Anything that stuck with you after 2 days of shows?
2 days of shows. Yes, I'm still very much enjoying my single, isolated self.
Right,
Even if
and you don't put judgment on yourself for being single at all anymore. Not like you
No.
did when you were younger.
No,
Yeah.
or even than I did a year ago.
Oh, excellent.
Even
Very
a year
good.
ago, I thought I should be trying to find someone, but now, no. I know what I want and what I don't want, and right now I just don't want.
Excellent. Excellent. Kellen.
I have enjoyed most of my evolution from feeling like I needed somebody to becoming what I am now. But I think that my favorite part is that I became a chameleon with every one of the relationships I was in. I liked, if he was baseball, I liked baseball. If he was a race car driver, I liked race car. I figured out that my favorite ice cream is mint chocolate chip in my journey. Because I always liked whatever they did. I always liked mocha almond fudge, Rocky Road without marshmallows. It's like, so by the way, mint chip is my favorite.
Good to know.
It's these important life lessons that we're trying to try mint chocolate chip people.
It got down to I couldn't even choose ice cream.
Right. Yeah.
I know. And the cool thing is when you could find your flavor and say, that's my flavor.
Mine.
That's kind of a moment for all of us, is to say that, oh my God, I know what I like, instead of, oh, whatever you want.
Right.
Barry, how would you wrap all this conversation up? We got a lot going on here.
I'm trying to think about ice cream.
Chocolate.
She's trying to describe a feeling of independence, and
I
guys,
totally
we start drooling like Pavlov's freaking dog, wondering if we got any Rocky Road in the fridge, right?
Well, I'll say, one thing I'll say, there's nothing wrong with being single. It's okay to have your own life. And when you're with somebody, it should be additive, not subtractive. Somebody said
Yep.
somebody said earlier about the whole summit thing where like, you complete me. It's like, no, because I use that quote from Jeremy Maguire all the time. You complete me is the best advertisement for codependency there is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
for me, I'm clear about it's better to be interdependent, not codependent, which means you have your own life, add with somebody else, and you still have your rest of your life as well. And that's a healthy way of being in the world, frankly.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Barry, thank you so much for jumping in, man. It's so awesome.
I
Yeah.
went, oh, this is my field. I'm like, count me in.
Mary, 2 great days of shows. First with
Woo.
on the Exes with Therese and I, now with our show. What do you take away from these 2 days?
We did amazing. The biggest thing is know thyself, heal thyself. That's the biggest lesson. And then you are ready to receive whatever it is that you want in whatever combination that you want. Single, not single, casual, whatever. Know thyself, heal thyself, and then you're good. And know your flavor. That's going to be your next. That's going to be your next book, Kellen Ann. It's going to be Find Your Flavor.
Mm.
There you go.
Love it.
Yes. And I just want to thank all of you guys. I mean, just so much for me to think about, and so much I think we gave people to think about. There's always maybe some level of like crossover, a little bit of compromise and stuff like that, but don't compromise who you are. The minute you start to compromise who you are, we start to resent the other person for that. And the truth is, it wasn't them taking it. It was us willingly giving. Don't give up on who you are, because when you met somebody, if you're attracted to them, you're attracted to who they are at the moment. The amazing thing is we meet people because they got some qualities that are different, and we get excited about that. The minute we're together, we want to change them to be more like us. And then after a while, we say, I don't like you because you're not the same person I married. It's a cluster. 2 people together make a team. 2 people coming in as one make 2 half people, and that's no good. So, guys, all of you, Therese, Barry, Kellen, the guys, thank you so much for being on our show. And Mary Kay, as always, it's just an absolute pleasure doing our Thursday nights together, babe.
Thank you. Love you guys.
All right, for everybody watching, all of our listeners, everybody out there, everybody who commented, and the people who are going to be watching this later, make sure you like the show, share it with your friends, and make sure you tune in next Thursday night as we talk about Kellen Ann's modesty. Now, we'll come up with something interesting. We'll be there. And if you have any suggestions for us, please reach out to Mary Kay, reach out to myself, share with us what you'd like to talk about, anything about making your life better. That's what we're all about. For now, for Scott, for Kellen, Therese, Barry, and of course the lovely Mary Kay, Scott J saying, we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.